I've lived on Waiheke on and off for the last 35 years. So first moved to the island in, I think it was 1984. Back then, like growing up on Waiheke in the 80s, it was just such a cool community, like super creative, and there were a lot of, just a really diverse community and people who were, committed to living a bit of a different lifestyle. So, I mean, living on an island, you can only go so far, and you're kind of down at the moana, so it's always been a huge part of my life. A highlight for me is the last time I was able to be out in the ocean before the lockdown happened. And so that was a group of 20 of us wahine Māori from Waiheke that went on an overnight journey on a Waka Hourua. So a Waka Hourua, for those that don't know, is a double-hulled traditional voyaging canoe. The reason that we decided to make that experience happen was, to reconnect us to the ocean as not only as women, but particularly as Māori, because a lot of people kind of think of Māori as being tangata whenua, which means the people of the land, but in all reality, if we look at our history over the last few thousand years, our people have always been tangata moana, so people of the ocean. The relation to our taiao and to our natural environment shapes everything for us, whether it's the land, whether it's the ocean. So our relationship to our atua and our environment determines the way that we are as people, and that therefore determines the way that we interact with those things, particularly as resources. So we have a strong, sense of kaitiakitanga and responsibility to the care of our whenua, because we are an extension of it. There is no difference between between ourselves and our environment in terms of the responsibility and the care that we would give Papa Tuanuku or to our family. We went over, we stayed at Waiheke Island, and we jumped off the waka and did quite a bit of diving. And there was just nothing there. Like, there was just nothing there at all. So I think that it's really clear that people are taking way too much from the hauraki, from the ocean around Waiheke. It's just looking really barren. Well, I would say that it's really clear to see that since, before colonization and before the arrival of the British in Aotearoa, our environment was pristine. It was, everything was in balance. And what is a real shame is that, through the signing of the treaty, what a lot of New Zealanders have really missed out on is the ability to be able to engage with our natural environment from a Māori view. The way that the economy is structured, our natural environment is just kind of considered as a resource for us to exploit. And I know that in Aotearoa we like to think of it as being, clean and green and all of these things, but we know that that's not true. There's not this kind of understanding or connection where, you're able to understand the environment as being not only just a part of us, but something that we truly need to take care of in order for things to remain in balance. And so when we don't do that, and when we start to exploit it, or overfish, or go out and have so many boats going out on the ocean, and not kind of managing things in terms of what the ocean can freely give us, then it starts to get thrown out of balance, which is what we can clearly see around Waiheke. There's big changes that need to be made, and if those changes are to be made, then this is a pretty amazing time for those changes to happen. We've never seen a situation like this before in terms of COVID. We're going to go into a pretty bad economic depression. And when we come out the other side of it, are we just going to hope that things go roaring back to normal as they are, or are we going to take this as an opportunity to treat it a little bit more lightly, and also have an open heart and an open mind to a different way of doing things?